I want to talk a little bit about the most common sites of knee pain that I see with hikers, and we can generally categorize them as below the middle of the knee and above the middle of the knee. If they're above the middle of the knee, we're generally thinking, let's look at the hip and the hamstrings and perhaps how the torso moves. And below the knee, we're generally thinking, let's look at the foot and the ankle and inversion and eversion and dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, and strengthening the tibia, not just in your normal tib raises, but also being able to internally and externally rotate the tibia. So pretty much anything below the middle of the knee, we absolutely smash tibial rotations, and we have people do them every day for like 4 to 6 weeks, and it generally works pretty well. Above the knee, this one in the middle, that's relatively straightforward. The rectus femoris that runs down that line typically can be very weak, so we're going to strengthen quads. We're going to do a lot of quad strength. We're going to do some rectus femoris isometrics, trying to find a way to get load into that, whether they're working in the gym or whether they're working at home. We'll try and load that area as well. This one we don't see too much of, and of course we're just going to be trying to strengthen the VMO and work on the hips and the hamstring movement as well. Finally, this guy, IT band pain can either be really, really easy or it can be really, really hard. If you want to see the easy version, watch the video that I did with Kareem a few years ago. And if you can't hinge, learn how to hinge. Do our 14-day hinge challenge and get a really nice clean hinge. That's the first thing on the list. When this becomes really, really difficult though, is when it's a rotational issue and we see people walk and they're a little bit off and they're not rotating very cleanly through their torso. That's when IT band issues can be really, really difficult to solve, and it can go on for a really long time until we find a solution. So that's a little bit of an overview of how we think about the knee. I'm sure other people think of it differently, but this is the way that we categorize it generally, and that's our clinical reasoning behind the exercises that we give people based off where the knee pain is. But of course, all of this comes down to movement. We like to see people move. That's why we always start our coaching with a free assessment where we actually see people move on camera. And you can book one of those via the link in my bio. Hope that was useful.